basically there are 10 factors which make you come up with a good illustration. So the first and the most important point is composition. As you can see, composition is basically how do you arrange something in a defined space. You all have been doing this all throughout your life. I can give you an example. The way you place your books on a table, the way you serve yourself food in a plate, that's an arrangement. That's a composition which you're doing very subconsciously. So similarly, when you look at a frame and the way you put elements around it, it is basically called a composition. So an artist who has a good eye for observation will make mental notes of these composition. They will, when they go somewhere, they will look at a setting and they will realize that, okay, this is looking very nice. The tree on the right side is looking so beautifully placed along with the entire frame. This is from a book called Tokyo on Foot. It's it's a travel log. So this is a part of the book where the two pages of the book are placed side by side, and this is how the artist has composed it. Now the artist could have possibly put this entire supermarket on one page frame itself and had the people here, but he chose to increase the size of the entire supermarket and spread it across on both the pages, and he has had people around them. So when you see that this person is standing is smaller, so you know that person is standing behind, right? So that's a composition. The second thing is balance. Now balance is it's very tricky, so hear me carefully. When you start looking at things, you will realize that they pull your attention towards something in the frame, and they will pull your attention and they will try to communicate things to you. So out here you can see that there are the noodles or the ramen which is falling in the bowl, but you can probably say, ma'am, why it's not in the center? It would have been more balanced, right? So out here the illustrator was told that in this ramen shop there's a lot of chaos, so we want to have something where there is chaos as well as calm. So he wanted to create a balance. What he did was he put the name of the restaurant out here, and what he's done is he's balanced the two of them. If he had just kept it white out here, the image would have been off balanced, but by putting some heavy orange graphics which are of the same color as these noodles, he is trying to balance the composition. Okay, so now we'll talk about contrast. Now contrast is something which, when elements are used in such a way that they create a difference of sorts between themselves in a space. And contrast basically helps in capturing your eyes. For example, out here, if I ask you, can you spot two characters?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Totally.
Yes.
So the reason is the artist has very smartly reduced the sizes of them. Okay? And at the same time, the artist has increased their color saturation. So he has made it more darker to bring those two elements out. If they were very light and they were small, you could have missed them. But the artist has played with size and the shading or the color, right? So in this frame itself, you can see that there are a lot of contrasts. Can anybody guess who the illustrator is? Okay, so guys, please check him out. He's Oliver Jeffers, Oliver Jeffers. He's a fantastic children's illustrator. And if you look at his work, you will understand how to use colors and at the same time learn more about composition. So do have a look at his work. Where are you? Where is your eyes going in this illustration?
I'm on the tree.
Tree.
Everybody agrees on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes.
So this is
Yes, ma'am.
what artist wanted us to do. He could have put a big tree on the entire page and he could have shown us thousands of objects on it like he wants to show and use the entire frame. But he chose not to do that. But he smartly put them on one side, and again, you see what he's done is he's played with size. So you know that this is a big tree on which the whale, which is much bigger, is there. Then you have a ship which is slightly smaller than the whale is there. Then you have a house. So he's played with variations over the tree, and he's made sure that you can see the child as well, right? So once you see the tree, your eyes also move towards the child. So the artist has basically tried to bring your eye to a focus point. So whenever you're trying to communicate, everything has a context. If I did not mention they all got stuck, and if I did not show you a tree, a boy, standing beside it, you would probably think this is just there has been a tsunami, and or there has been some kind of a hurricane and things are just on a tree. But in order to give it some context, he's brought in a child who is basically taking you around in the story. It's basically you see the emotions in it. And one very big reason out here is the girl is tilted. She is not straight. So you know that she's running towards a particular direction. So when we show somebody drawing or we show them doing something, it's not necessary that we have to do it in a straight format. That can make an illustration look very boring. So you need to understand that if you're asked to draw something, you can probably think of changing the person's directions. You can think of changing the person's scale. You can reduce the person, or you can increase the size. You can tilt it, and at the same time you see that her hands are not towards her body, it's away from her body. Basically she's already ready to attack. It's showing you that there is a lot of quick movement happening in the scene. So that's why it's more engaging. So out here I wanted to bring to you patterns. Now, when the first thing when we think of patterns is we think of something which is repetitive. We think of like a series of stars together, or we'll see like lines together, that or checks. So that's a pattern, right? Do you guys see a pattern here? So basically, all of you feel that this color is making it stand out more, right? The artist has given the girl in the picture polka dot,
Red shirt. Oh,
and has made the mother also wear a similar pattern. So somewhere those two are connected, right? And at the same time, you know that they are disconnected from the woman who is the man who's wearing holding cups in his hand, and the lady who's walking with her dog, because she is not even looking at them. So you see how the artist is creating a difference by grouping things together also. That's one very good feature of our illustration. Why would I choose this image for unity? Okay, so basically, like Smriti also pointed out that there is a big no. So the artist is giving unity to the whole picture. Everybody has something which is similar. So it's a part of the same frame. They may not be related to each other, but he's given them huge round faces. And that is also the artist's style. So he is trying to use his style to bring out unity in the image. Anybody recognizes this artist's work? Who's this artist? So she started drawing when she was 30, and at 40, she became a well known artist, illustrator. Her name is Lisa Congdon, and she basically tries to use very happy and lively uh, colors. And they are also very bold. They have very pronounced forms. They're not very blurred. They are very clear geometric forms, which she uses in her work. So you can clearly make out this is a very bright and a happy image, right? Even though there is black being used, it's still not a very dull image. That's because the way the artist has chosen to color the image. So colors basically tell a lot about a image. The artist has used a color which signifies danger. It signifies taking your senses. It brings all your senses and it makes you alert. So most of the road signs where you see no entry is written in red. He doesn't want the attention to be taken away completely out of, he's only painted a certain frame of the picture red because he wants the viewer to have some space where they can think about if it's a stress, if it's a if there's something happening which we don't know what is it. So another color is just distracting you. It's trying to make you think and guess. So all of you started telling that maybe he's hungry. So your attention came here, but the overall suspense was built around it. The entire color is black and it says outright the dark. Now, if you notice, the artist has not drawn anything here, you know, nothing has been done here. Only everything is out here. So that is basically when you divide a space into elements which give it focus, which tells you something. So this is basically the negative space. When you're not using that space in a picture, it is called a negative space. And the space which you use to create something, where you put in something, is called a positive space. So this girl is looking up. You see that the perspective is drawn in such a way that, she, it's probably that the artist is sitting close to the shoes and is, looking towards her up and drawing her, right? A lot of things are happening here, right? So basically, one thing which is for sure is that she is looking up probably for freedom, or she is, she's realizing that she has ignored nature, and you see the concrete structures around her, which is what we all are now living in, and that's the life about us. So if you look at this image, it's only like 1/3 of the image which is in color, and it has these birds flying, which are a sign of positivity in the entire frame. And on both the sides, you see that the artist has colored it in gray. So it's again a color theory where it's signifying that there can be a sense of imprisonment. It can be a sense of lack of freedom of sorts. It could be also concrete. So we're talking about not caring for nature enough. But the idea is that the artist has chosen a very different perspective to communicate the whole thing.